Welcome to the Apex Rack Audit Training program. This video will acquaint you with the auditing process using the Apex Rack Repair app. We will cover all of the important steps and how-tos for conducting a pallet rack safety audit. Before starting the inspection, make sure to have a tape measure, flashlight, and a smartphone or tablet equipped with the Rack Repair app. The app is an easy-to-use pallet rack damage assessment tool that captures everything you need for rack evaluation and repair. If you haven't done so already, you can download the app using the link found in the video description below. We also suggest watching the training videos found on the Apex website and YouTube channel. Links are also shared below. In just 5 minutes, you can learn how to identify damaged components and properly capture all necessary specs for repair or replacement. Before getting started, log into the app to begin a new audit. Enter all relevant details in the Start Inspection screen. As you begin the audit, start at one end of the facility and work your way through in an organized manner. Jumping back and forth between areas makes it difficult for tracking necessary repairs later in the process. Remember to record all the damage using the Rack Repair app. When entering the row, scan the aisle to identify any obvious imperfections. In many rows, the beams will be at the same height for extended stretches, providing a good view to spot damaged or sagging beams. Start your way down the aisle, taking time to inspect each individual upright and beam. Use your flashlight to inspect both up and down the upright. The light makes it easier to see imperfections in the steel. Pay particular attention to the frames towards the end of a row. In addition, be sure to examine beams in tunnels. These are prime locations for forklift damage as they are high-traffic thoroughfares. When recording upright damage, be sure to note any deflection greater than a ½ inch from front to back and down aisle. Indicate if the steel is torn and where the damage resides within the upright. If there is a separation between the column and seismic backer, note that is damaged and check to see if the frame is plumb front to back and side to side. If the frame is too far out of plumb by more than ½ inch per 10 feet of height, it needs to be unloaded and replumbed. This is the case for both front to back and side to side. Note, although most impacts occur on the front post, it is important to inspect the entire upright for damage and to also look for consistent damage, which can prove to be more serious. Pallet rack configurations with more space between level beams, also known as the unsupported span, are also more susceptible to critical damage versus hand stack areas, as there are fewer connections to keep the system stable. Rack damage to standalone single aisles can be more dangerous for the same reason. Struts play an integral role in the structural integrity of the rack system. The key elements to look for when assessing strut damage is any deflection in the strut of more than a ½ inch. Also note any tears or broken welds where they should be connected to the rest of the system. Most often, strut damage will occur in the lower portion of the upright. The footplate connects the rack system to the floor. If it is missing or compromised, the system may not be properly secured to the ground. Check for rips or tears, and if the footplate is twisted by more than a ½ inch, you need to record it as damaged. Also, note any shims to ensure they are not sliding out or improperly installed. All footplates must have at least one securely fastened anchor. Be advised that anchors can come loose after time due to floor vibrations. Check that all anchors are secured tightly to the floor and record all missing, sheared, or loose anchors. Proper beam inspection requires more than just checking for equipment strikes and damage. You must record any damage that causes deflection of greater than a ½ inch. Also, check for overloaded beams by measuring allowable beam deflection. This is determined by dividing the length of the beam by 180. If the beam is deflected down by more than that number, it is overloaded. Also, be sure to record missing or damaged safety pin connectors and tears in the beam. When inspecting back-to-back frames with a height-depth ratio of 6:1 or greater, confirm that row spacers are used to help secure the rows and that they are set at a minimum 10 feet apart. Record any deficiencies found. Any damage found to either decking or supports must be recorded to ensure the safety of the system. Both provide support for the product loads, and wire decks prevent cartons or totes from falling through the rack. Once the audit is complete, simply hit the final Submit button on the Rack Repair app. Your audit will then be in the hands of the Apex Rack Repair team, who will be in touch with recommendations for rack repair or replacement. Meanwhile, you will receive a damage summary of the audit for your records. If you find any severe damage or immediate safety concerns, we recommend unloading the rack until it can be properly repaired. General guidelines for immediate rack safety concerns include rack that is not anchored to the ground, severe beam damage where the beam is creased or buckled, upright damage where the upright is completely creased or out of plumb, excessive strut damage or multiple damaged struts in a frame line or row, multiple damaged items in a row or system. And now, answers to some of your frequently asked warehouse audit and rack repair app questions. Where can I find the Apex Rack Repair app, and how do I get started? You can easily find and download the Rack Repair app from the App Store or from Google Play. To get started, simply fill in the personal information fields so that Apex can save your audits and get in touch with you regarding reports and repairs. The welcome screen will appear automatically. Touch the Start New Inspection button to begin your audit. Are there costs for using or downloading the app? The Apex Rack Repair app is free to download and use for all of your damage assessments. You will receive a quote from the Apex Rack Repair team if there are recommended repairs following the submission of your audit. How often should we conduct a pallet rack audit? Pallet rack audits should be completed annually to assess damage, load compliance, and system integrity. However, you can use the Rack Repair app to evaluate individual rack damage concerns as they arise. A custom rack repair kit can be ordered and shipped quickly, if necessary, to get the damaged rack section back into use. How much time is required to complete a pallet rack audit? While every warehouse is unique, a rack inspection typically takes between 3 to 4 hours. Larger facilities or those with several existing damage locations may take longer. How secure is our warehouse data and photos submitted to record rack damage? Your audit specs and photos will be uploaded to a secure cloud-based server and used only by the Apex Rack Repair team to make their damage assessment. If needed, they will also be used to design and manufacture a custom rack repair kit to fix the damaged components. The photos will not be shared. What do I do if I have an account but I can't submit my audit? You may just have to verify the account first. You will receive a verification link via email. Once confirmed, you will be able to submit that first audit. What's the best way to record the location of the damaged component? There are two options. Enter the row and bay number in the proper fields, or use the barcode scanner. Just click the camera logo to the right side of the barcode field and let the app do the work for you. How do I know what to measure for each component? The app shows you step by step exactly what to measure for each type of rack component using clear and simple illustrations and directions. Can I submit multiple damage locations in the same rack audit? Absolutely. Just click the plus button in the lower right corner after each damage location is added. You will also have the opportunity to copy some of the measurements from a previous location if the component specs are the same. How do I delete a damage location that may not be needed on an inspection? Swiping the location on the home screen of the survey will give you the option to delete the location. This will also apply to an entire inspection on the home screen of the app. What do I do if the Submit button doesn't work at the conclusion of the audit? You have to have at least one or more damage locations selected on the left side of the screen in order to access the Submit Audit button. You also have the option of selecting all locations at once. What if the app is taking a long time to load damage details? Try performing the inspection with your device on airplane mode. This will stop the app from saving photos and measurements to the server after every submission, making the experience much faster, especially in situations where cellular service isn't good. What should I do if I receive an error message? You will need to exit out of the app and reopen it. You will lose the data from the particular damage location you are working on, but all prior locations will be saved. Where can I find assistance to help me with the app? The Apex Warehouse Systems website has several training videos to help users with the app. Plus, the Apex Rack Repair team is here to help. Contact us anytime with questions. I submitted my survey but can't find it on the app. Once the audit is submitted, you will receive an email with a copy of the survey. However, you will no longer be able to view it on the app. It's now in the hands of the Apex Rack Repair team to assess damage and develop recommendations. How long does it take to receive the assessment or a quote for repairs from the Apex team? Depending on the size and complexity of the survey, you will receive recommendations along with your quote for repairs, if needed, within 1 week of submission. How do I know if I need to unload product and remove a bay from service due to damage? If you're concerned about severe rack damage, it is always better to unload the rack bay and adjacent bays as soon as possible before evaluating the system. You can also contact the Apex Rack Repair team for guidance. Send over a picture or reference a location from your survey and we'll help you make that determination. Do I have to order my repair kit from Apex? No, there is no obligation. Apex Warehouse Systems guarantees an independent audit solution, meaning we don't exclusively recommend repair kits or replacement parts. Our audit approach is to evaluate each location to determine the safest, most cost-effective, and best long-term solution to get your rack in working and safe order. Thank you for downloading the Apex Rack Repair app. We look forward to working with you to ensure the safety and productivity of your warehouse.